Love the old intro. I had to do it again. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Time We Discuss, the Thanksgiving edition. Back in the very, very early days, I used to do that walk-in intro, which I loved. Every once in a while, I whip it back out for good times, and this is one of those times. But again, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Time We Discuss Thanksgiving edition. It's that time of the year. We're here in the States. We celebrate everything for which we are thankful by eating as much food as we can, kind of like what Garfield says. You know, we eat our turkeys, our pies, veggies, stuffing. Then maybe we throw back a beer or two, watch some American football. That is the tradition here in the States. For anyone else, whether you're celebrating Thanksgiving now or later, or if you don't, just take a second, be thankful for those things for which you are grateful. I want to share something, and I shared this last year, but it was so powerful that I really want to share it again. And last year kind of went like this. It was my wife was looking at something on LinkedIn. It was a post on LinkedIn, and it basically said that the job that you hate is the job that someone else wishes they had. The house that you complain about is the house that someone else wishes they had. And I thought that's very powerful because I feel like it's so easy for us to constantly look for the things that we wish we had and forget about the good things that we do have. And as quote unquote bad as the things are that we have, it's still good or better than what some other people have. So just take a second at some point, reflect on those good things that you have and just recognize them. Like, you have good things, and that's okay. That's good stuff. Similarly, I remember speaking with someone over Threads, and I don't remember what the prompt was, but my response back was something like this, and this was part of like a creators kind of thread. However, this can be more broadly applied to everyone. But my response to this person was something like, "Be aware of what you're chasing." Right now as a creator, I might be saying that I wish that each episode had X amount of views or X amount of subs or something like that. Whereas a year ago, or 6 months ago, or 3 months ago, or yesterday, I would have been ecstatic to have this many views or this many subs or something like that. So it's important to keep that in perspective, where you're aware of what you're chasing and remember where you were coming from and where you are now. So in the spirit of Thanksgiving, I'm thankful for the kind words, not only from the guests on my show, but all of you that swing by and express your appreciation. And you'll remember in the backstory, and I'll include a link to this at the end of the episode. I'll also put a link in the description. In the backstory, this is why I'm doing this. I'm doing this to help other people. When I first started this, my wife was going through a rough time with work, resigned, decided she wanted to do something else, didn't know what, tried to look at a bunch of different things. And I decided to create this kind of coming off of all of that. So anyone that's interested in the backstory, it's a fun, like 15-minute episode, unscripted. Definitely check that out. Again, it'll be linked at the end. It's also in the description. But I'm grateful for my 50,000 views, over 260 subs. And that's awesome. I mean, for many people, 50,000 views, they get that on a single video. But for me, that's really cool. 50,000 people decided, you know what? What's this about? I want to check this out. This seems interesting. And 260 people said, this is interesting. I want to be notified when other stuff comes out because that's probably going to be interesting too. So that's really, really cool. So I'm very thankful for my 50,000 viewers, my 260 subs. I'm thankful for all of my guests, over 140 of you. And each of you took a chance on me. I'm a face on the internet. And when I reached out, I was, words in an email. And you may have said upon getting this email, time we what? I don't know about this guy. But you took a chance on me, and you took a chance with your brand. You agreed to help me help other people. And I'm very, 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 very grateful for that. I'm also thankful for the other podcasters that said, "Hey, Dan, I like what you're doing. Come on my show. Let's talk about it some more." Really great experience helping me help other people on a larger scale. And I'm very, very grateful for that. Now, I'm going to hijack this holiday briefly. I want to challenge all of you. I want to challenge all of you to help me help others. If you know someone that is struggling to figure out what they want to do professionally, send them over here. We're all friends. We welcome everyone. With over 140 episodes, I'm sure they'll find something that either directly or indirectly makes them think, I hadn't considered that. Consider these inspiring stories from season 2. Now, I spoke about season 1 at the end of season 1, so these are just stories from season 2. But think about or remember Dalen Huso. Okay, he started a pool cleaning business with no money and a brush, and I love that. I absolutely love that. His story was so awesome, basically zero startup costs. But his story is incredible because it also can be applied to any small business that's just starting out. He tells you how you can successfully grow, different things that took little or no money to help him grow and how successful that was. Great story. Now, What about if you're a creative of some kind? Let's just talk about authors for a second. I have no shortage of authors that I've interviewed. I have a whole playlist of writers that talk about the journey from concept to being number one sellers. Two people that immediately jump out in my mind are Jennifer Shaw and Aaron Ryan, and they provided real ways that you can take the art that you've written and get it sold. Real actionable steps. Great, great stories. Now, what about jobs where you're just unfulfilled and maybe you're looking for something elsewhere? Maybe you've decided to quietly quit and you've just had it, okay? You need fulfillment, you don't know where to go. Consider Doug Lawrence, okay? He talked about the mentor-mentee relationship. Mentor-mentee relationship. I got to stop there for a second because whenever I think of this particular video, I think of George Costanza and risk management. I'll let you look that up. Go pause the video. Go check that out and then come back. I'm not going anywhere. Okay, but it's George Costanza and risk management. But Doug talks about both sides of the mentor-mentee relationship and how beneficial it is for both people. So maybe that's something that is something you could consider to give yourself some more meaning or some more professional fulfillment. Now, maybe you don't want to work with someone just one-on-one. Maybe you want to share your knowledge more broadly. Now, what about if we consider professional speaker Michael Hinkson? Michael Hinkson tells his powerful story of breaking into this role as a professional speaker, being a survivor of the 9/11 tragedy in New York City. Now, I point blank said to him, I said, Michael, if someone doesn't have a powerful story such as yours with 9/11, does that mean they can't break into this industry? Because let's face it, that can leave out a lot of people. And he said to me, he said, Dan, no. And he gave practical and actionable steps to actually get started professionally speaking. So if that's something that, no pun intended, that's something that speaks to you, his video is definitely a great one to check out. All right, now let's go completely off the wall. Completely off the wall. You like the weird stuff, the spooky stuff. This is the only thing that interests you. Are you destined to be unhappy in your career? No. I have a whole playlist dedicated to this. And I absolutely love what Jim Harold had to say when I interviewed him. Now, he's a professional podcaster about the paranormal. I've been following him since 2007. Utmost respect for the guy. But he says, and I'm quoting this because I love this. He says, my wife Dar was very supportive. A lot of people wouldn't be. I'm going to give up my health benefits. I'm going to give up my 9 to 5 to talk about Bigfoot. And she was supportive, and I'm so thankful that she was. End quote. I love that. He decides he's given up everything he has professionally to talk about Bigfoot. And here it is. He started in 2007, as far as I remember, 2007. 2025, his podcasts, plural, are still going strong. So there are opportunities out there for anyone, regardless of what your interests are. There's so many opportunities. So again, if you know anyone that is struggling to find happiness or fulfillment in their career, send them my way so we can help them together. All right. That's enough of plugging other episodes. But again, I am very grateful for all of you, my guests, visitors, podcasters, and I'll see you next week. I'm going to drop another interview next week, so stay tuned. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Time We Discuss.